Hey everyone. So today I thought that we would just have some fun watercolor play where you don't have to worry about, um, gosh, does the flower look like a flower? Or, do you have blending going on that you may not necessarily like? We're going to kind of throw all that away today and just do some very, very, very basic watercolor fun that truly anyone can do. And it's just fun, right? It gets you into your watercolor paints and using up what you have. And that's it. It's that simple. So what we're going to do today is work on a piece of a page from a book, right? So I did receive this paper from Tracy. Tracy, thank you very much. And I wanted to play with it a little bit. So I'm just going to use, I think, the color that I have here. This is my small palette. And what I'm going to do is in the middle of this paper. Now, this is not watercolor paper. You're not going to see it react like, watercolor paper would. All I want you to do is put down, I would say, maybe 3 flowers or flower shapes. So you can see at this point, well, the paper is definitely buckling, and that's fine. And these don't really look like flowers, and that's fine. Because what we're going to do in the end is once this dries, we're going to come back and we're going to draw our flowers, right? So we're going to take, whatever kind of pen you have, and we're going to make these look like beautiful flowers. And it's really that simple. So we are going to put some yellow flowers on here as well. But what I do want to do is I want to grab this deeper color and, as usual, put some of the deeper color in the middle. That will represent the middle of our flower when we get to that stage. I do want this to look very loose and messy, and yeah, so yep. I'm going to go ahead and grab some of this yellow. It looks like an orange. It's probably a mixture of my cadmium yellow and my Aussie red gold. And I'm going to put what I would call like littler flowers, yellow flowers, just kind of around, right? That's it. Easy peasy. And they don't even have to be full. They can be more of almost like a bud, if you want to call it that. And let's see. Kind of think about the composition of it though, right? So I'm not planning on even putting leaves on here. It's just going to be these flowers. So I can make it as full or not as full as I would like. So I can really go crazy here or just keep it pretty basic. I'm kind of thinking I kind of like this the way it is. The only thing I'm thinking about is possibly putting another yellow flower down here. But you know what? I think I like that just the way that it is. I'm going to lift it up so that you can see, it's definitely buckling. But I'm just going to let it dry, and then I will come back after it's dry, and we will go ahead and draw our flowers onto this page of a book. All right, so I will be back when this is all dry. All right, so I have let this dry for, I'd say, about a couple hours, and that's because I went out to lunch with a group of ladies. So it's nice and dry, and we're going to take these really fun I want to say clusters of paint, areas of paint, and we're going to make some pretty flowers from this. So I could use my Uniball Signo, but I mean, there's many. You can use just a regular pencil or a pen or whatever you have, but I'm going to use the Tombow Fudenosuke pen, and I like it because it has like a felt tip to it. And this one happens to be black. I have a brown one, I have a pink one. Yeah, so I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna start with this flower right here. And since the middle of my flower is not the only place that has that more concentrated, darker color, I'm going to make the middle of my flower just a little bit special, just by kind of doing a little twirly thing like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the lightest part of the flower. So I'm going to hold this up. So you can see like the light part of the flower goes all the way out, right? I want to try to capture as much of that as I can in my petals. Now you can make, more rounded petals, more longer petals, petals that are more squiggly. You can do whatever you want. What I think I'm going to do is something like this. And kind of go around like this. All right, so I'm going to hold that up. And you're going to see my first little flower. Doesn't it look pretty? So we're going to do, I think, the exact same thing to this one. This flower seems a little bit bigger, so I'm going to do the middle just a little bit bigger, not much, right? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm doing like a semi-squiggle petal. Semi-squiggle. Now this flower I think is going to have more than 5 petals, and that's okay. We're going to go with it, right? No biggie. It's a flower. It's a fake flower. It's all good. Pretty, right? And you'll notice that it is not totally symmetrical. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Okay, sorry, I got a little bit out of screen right there. Well, at least I hope I didn't get totally out of screen. Okay, so I'm going to do the same here. Right? And you can make your flowers different, right? So this one I'm going to do with much narrower petals all the way around. Like that. Super cute, right? So these are going to be more buds, that kind of thing, not a lot going on here. So I'm going to do what would be like the bottom of this little area right here. And I'm going to do some dots just to kind of fill it in to show that it's the middle of a flower. Yeah, so I'm going to do this one a little different. I'm going to do this one like this, right? And I can do a couple smaller petals here. And you'll see like some of my petals do not have paint in them, or not fully in them, and that is a-okay. So this little one here is perfect for a cute little flower like the bigger ones, right? Let's see over here. What am I going to do with this one? So I think the middle of my flower is over here. And even though it's supposed to be more like a bud, which I could do, but it's kind of hard to do when you're not using, what do I want to say? when you're not using like my plan is not to put leaves on these. So it's easier when you have leaves and a bud, because like I can come up the sides with green and like have a yellow flower. But I think that looks kind of like a petal. I'll take it. I'll take it. And then this one down here is like the one up here. So I'm just going to do the same thing. And this just came from us getting into our watercolors, using our paints, right? And just having a relaxing, fun little time with a piece of book paper. Super cute. I really like this. What I'm thinking is I just might add more to this. I'm going to think about it. I think I need another color. I might do something maybe with Aussie Red Gold, or maybe one of my blues. So, you know what? I'm going to go in and prepare for that, because I don't have my paints sprayed, you know, with water to get them ready or anything yet. So I'm going to go get my water and get my paints ready, and then I'm going to come back on. Be right back. Okay, so I'm going to pull in, I'm not sure if I'm going to pull in blue or purple, but I did pull out my striper paintbrush, and it is very fun to paint with. You can see the shape of it, and it's nice and long, and it's loose, like really it moves a lot, it bends a lot. So these flowers that I'm going to do now, I'm thinking are going to look really different than the ones I have on here. So do I want blue or do I want purple? Or do I want a mixture of both? I think what I'll do is maybe start with a little bit of purple. Right, a little bit of purple. Trust me on these. You're saying, what is she doing? So this is definitely a looser style, right? I think what I'll do, I think this one, let me see. This one is a deeper purple. And just, woo, look at that. Woo, woo. All right. So now I'm going to get a thirsty brush, which means that it will allow me to pick up some of it, right? And yep. I like that. I like that. I do want to try to get just a little bit of darker in the middle here, because I feel like I wiped it away. Let's see. All right, well, I'm going to let that be. You know, I'm going to pull in just a tad of blue. This is Mayan blue, and it is very dark. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful blue. Well, let me see if I can pull in what would look like some leaves, but not necessarily attached to anything, right? Just to add to the painting some little squiggle-like leaves. Wow, that one kind of, yeah, the paper kind of took over that one. Let's see. Little squiggle, little squiggle. And this brush is really good for this, because like I said, it's nice and loose. It's very easy to move the bristles of this brush. All right. If I feel like any of them need to be fixed, I'm going to do that, which I don't normally do, but this paper is, you know, different for sure. All right, I'm gonna let that be. All right, I'm gonna let this dry. I will be back again. Okay, alrighty, I'll be back. This is really coming together beautifully. Look at all the different colors on here. Gorgeous, right? All right, so I think what I'm gonna do first is detail the purple. To me, they're very, I want to say, bud-like as well. I mean, they almost look like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, but that's kind of fun, right? Just, I'm going to do the same thing here. Just give it a little bit of, a little bit of detail. That's all. That easy. I'll hold it up so that you can see. Right? Just a little bit of detail. Now this one down here has a very different shape than these two. So I'm thinking I'm just going to kind of go with what I see here. I'm looking at the shape of the flower, not the flower, the shape of the paint. And I'm going to leave it just like that. Right? I mean, I could take two, petals on the sides, but I'm not going to, because this is just fun. This is fun. All right, so I'm going to put this pen away. I pulled out this Tombow pen. I don't know the name of it. It's a calligraphy pen. It has two ends to it, a black end and a gray end, but it's really, really, really fine tipped. And what I want to do is add just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit more of definition. Let me kind of zoom in just a little bit here. And all I'm doing at this point is I'm going to pull in just a little bit more. And I don't want to put too much here because otherwise then I think it's overkill. But I think that that's okay, right? I think that that's okay. So I'm going to kind of do the same thing here. Maybe not as uniform. I don't want them to all look the same. So I like that. I mean, you could do things with dots, right? You could put dots all around or inside of your petals. I mean, there's stuff you can do for sure. I'm trying to think what to do with this particular flower. Maybe I'll do something like that, right? It almost looks like there's a bend to each of these petals now, right? So easy peasy. All right, so I like that one. This little yellow one down here. You know what I think I'm gonna do? Whoops. I'm going to just do some dots. Really quickly, nothing super fancy. Just adding a little bit of almost like a doodle effect, right? And these, it's easy to see on this yellow because the yellow is, lighter in color. This one down here, what should I do with this guy? I'm thinking maybe I'll do something like this. Maybe just on the outside and kind of make that look like a shaded little area. So I'll do this, I'll shade this, and then I'll look at it and see if I need to add shading anywhere else. I think I'm gonna leave it like that. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make the inside on this one dark. Okay, so something just a little bit different. So now I have this effect, I have the dots, I have this kind of petal, I have that kind of petal, right? Which is a little different than this one because this is 5 petals, that's 1, 2, 3. This is 6 petals and 5 petals, right? Right? So looking cute, looking cute. So since I like this so much down here, I'm going to do the same thing up here. And you might hear my bird. If you hear a squeak, that's my bird. He wants to be heard. He can get pretty loud, so that little squeak, that's nothing. That's nothing. I think what I'll do, you know how I did the shading down here? I think I'm going to do something similar up here for this one. Just put a little shading underneath the bottom. Like that. That's cute. I like that. I mean, you can put a little shading on this one as well. I'm just going to do very little on this one. Like that. Okay. Cute, right? Just a little definition. This one I definitely want to give. I don't know why this one, everything looks so light on it, but it is. So I'm going to press on this. You know, this pen, this marker, to make that more defined. I'm going to leave that. I like that, just like that. And let's go ahead and do something here. I'm just making that a little bit fancier. Now this big middle section here, I definitely feel like I need to do something. So what I'm thinking on this one, we can do something like this, right? I'll hold that up and you can see. This one, I think I'm going to try to do something like this. You know what I'm going to do on this one? I'm going to add like that. And maybe, I don't know that I want to color the whole thing in. I'm just going to start by doing that. I mean, there's no paint in excuse me, I apologize for always doing that. Yeah, so now that I've done that, now I know I need to do more, right? So I'm just gonna make these petal lines a little heavier. Like that. Perfect. Love it. I am not going to go overboard on that. So then I have this one over here. I'm going to turn it. I think I'm going to make this one dark. So like right now, like up here, like there's a lot of darkness going on. I'm going to make this one dark, meaning the line's heavier. Then I'm going to come back down here and just do a little bit more to that. So I don't want to fill in this whole petal over here. Remember, this is like our bud that we were doing, right? So, but I will do this like that. Like that. I like that. And then this one, I feel like I need to make just a little bit darker. So I'm pressing heavier with the pen in my hand, and it's making it fill in a little bit better. And I like how it looks now. So I'm thinking now the flowers are good. The only thing I'm thinking at this point is now these pink ones don't seem to pop enough for me. But I'm going to leave them, because if I start futzing with everything, then that's too much. I don't want this to be that involved. The last thing that I want to think about is right, these like almost like leaf type squiggles. But I don't want to do much. I'm just maybe going to do that. So maybe just kind of define the squiggle just a little bit. And I'm not going super heavy. Right, just like that. Because I don't want to take away from the flowers, but I don't want to leave these leaves with no further definition. I definitely want them to look done. Like they don't look done to me until I add that outline into them, right? So like these look undone and these look done, right? So I'm just going to continue and do my little outlining. Almost looks like an eel, doesn't it? Reminds me of an eel. Like that. And like that. Easy peasy and a lot of fun. Sorry, I'm trying to zoom out. I'm going the wrong way. You know what? This is it. I'm done. This was a lot of fun. This was a ton of fun on a book page, and I had fun with my paints. So let me know if you give this a try. This is obviously nothing new. I mean, I've even, I've done this for many years, but this is just a lot of fun, and you can get creative, put a lot of color onto the page, doodle whatever you want to doodle. You can, do whatever you want. And then let me know. Let me know if you plan to do something like this, or, if you have already, or, if you're, going to plan to do it soon. Let me know. It was just fun. All right. Thanks so much for being here. I love having each and every one of you here and watching. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. Okay, thank you. All right, bye-bye.